So now that we've made this distinction of acting in accordance with duty and acting from duty, Kant feels like his analysis is complete and he can draw out the sort of lessons that we've learned. And so he expresses three propositions about morality. The first principle is that for an action to have genuine moral worth, it must be done from duty. That is, out of respect for, reverence to the commands of the law. The second principle says that an action that is done from duty doesn't get its moral value from the purpose that's to be achieved through it. So Kant explicitly distances moral value from consequences and outcomes. Conditional purposes are not the source of moral value. Instead, the moral value of an action comes from the maxim, that is, the expression of the rule that gives the reason why the person acts thus. It's the nature of the rule. So maxim in this sense is in the Men's Magazine. Maxim in this sense is the rule or principle that prescribes conduct. So moral value follows from the rule or principle and the intent of the actor to adhere to, or a better expression would be to act out of respect for the rational command embodied in that principle. And our third proposition, our third lesson to be learned, to have a duty is to be required to act in a certain way out of respect for the law. So the goodwill acts from duty, which is a respect for the law. But it can't act from the law or maxim, act from duty in a conditional fashion. It can't do it because it wants to obey the law. It must act without reference to any expected result. Its intent, the will's intent, must be to act from duty in the sense of submitting the will to the law without interference from any other influences of mind. One must act out of respect or reverence for the law, that is, out of the principle that conduct universally conform to the law. Having drawn out his lessons, Kant's now finally in a position to formulate the maxim, the rule prescribing action, unconditional maxim, that is the supreme moral principle in his ethical system. And that is, I ought never to act except in such a way that I can also will that my maxim should be a universal law. So this is the first formulation that Kant offers of the categorical imperative. He offers a number of different formulations of the categorical imperative, each designed to illustrate it in a different light. One of the formulations that Rachel talks about in the chapters is the formulation that one should always act in a way that treats people as ends and not as means. That's one of the formulations that Kant introduces. Right? But they're all, in Kant's mind, expressions of the same imperative, the same supreme moral principle, that I ought never to act except in such a way that I can also will my maxim should be a universal law. So to summarize, in chapter 1, Kant shows us that his ethical system derives from the notion that reason is the final and sole authority with regard to morality. All moral actions must be undertaken from a sense of duty as dictated by reason. No action one performs for expediency or merely in accordance with law or custom can be regarded as truly moral for Kant. So you should have familiarity with these concepts on the basis of the lecture. You should understand what deontological theories are and how they differ from consequentialist theories. You should understand what Kant means by the good will. You should be able to talk about the good will's purpose or function, how duty relates to the purpose or function of the will. You should be able to distinguish conceptually between acting from duty and acting in accordance with duty. You should be able to tell me what a maxim is, and you should now understand, or at least be aware of, the central maxim, the expression of the supreme moral principle in Kant's ethics, the categorical imperative.